Hey there everybody, how are we all doing? Today we're going to be taking a look at all the secondary pilot kits, how best to use them, and how to choose what's right for you. Let's get started. First, we'll take a look at the Dome Shield battery. This kit extends the amount of time your Titan will project a Dome Shield upon being called in from 15 to 25 seconds. I personally don't care for this kit whatsoever, really, but there's a lot of people that do. One of the best ways, in my opinion, of using this kit is in the middle of large Titan fights where you haven't called your Titan in yet, but there's like 2 vs 2, 3 vs 3, 4 vs 4 kind of action going on somewhere on the map. Basically, you're able to call your Titanfall in, and you can break up fights and change the landscape and cover that other Titans are able to use for an extended period of time, while you can focus on taking advantage of that extended Dome Shield time. Be it to assist your teammates, or rodeo an enemy Titan, or to shoot a mag launcher at it, or, whatever, what have you. That extra time it just enables you to completely change the way that the fight is occurring, and that's really, really powerful in my opinion. In addition, in the very likely event that you die somehow during the fight, you've got plenty of extra time to make your way back across the battlefield to your Titan before that shield pops and it gets ganged up on, so that's also very, very important in my opinion. Another cool thing to do is using, let's say you pick an Ogre as your Titan and you use the Dome Shield battery. What you can do is you can drop your Titan in the middle of maps with really tight lanes, like for example Colony. And with proper placement, you can completely block the lanes from any kind of Titan advancing whatsoever. So like, if there's a guy that's trying to get a flagpole, you can drop your Ogre and say nope and completely block that center lane. And they have to do a complete 180 and go all the way back around the entire map just to get out of there. So very, very, very powerful tool that I never see anyone using on purpose. It's always something that people use on accident. But if you were to intentionally and consciously use that to your advantage, it's extremely powerful. With all of this though, you have to keep in mind that all of this can be done without the Dome Shield battery. The Dome Shield isn't allowing you to perform any new action that you couldn't otherwise do. It's simply allowing the Dome Shield to exist for a longer period of time. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's a bad choice or a wrong choice, especially because what it's enabling you to do is not something that you could otherwise compensate for with other kinds of gameplay, like you could with a run and gun kit or with what's the other one that I was harping on the other day? The Enhanced Parkour kit. Those are kits where you can patch the things that they're trying to help you do with better gameplay to begin with. But Dome Shield battery, it's not the case with this. It's only giving you an extended time, yes, but it's not something that you can otherwise do. So in my opinion, it's still a good solid kit that if you really, really like it and you really think you can apply it well, then you should definitely go for. Next up, let's take a look at the MINION detector. So, as I've said countless times in the past, and I'm going to say it again, and I know that all you guys that have been subscribed to me for a while are going to just want to punch me in the face for saying this a million times, but I'm going to say it one more time because I've had a lot of new subscribers that haven't heard this yet, that may not already know, is that minions spawn generally near pilots. So basically, if you have MINION detector on and you're watching where grunts are spawning in, pilots are going to be in that area. Like, for example, if you're playing a hardpoint game and all 6 pilots on a team are backed into a corner at A point, you can bet that a vast majority of the grunts that are going to be spawning around that A point. Like, they're not going to be like spawning in at C. Like, they're going to be spawning at A by the pilots where the action is. So while this is an extreme example for sure, the general idea still stands. If you see a squad of grunts suddenly dropping into the battle, check the skies and all the nearest buildings. More than likely there's going to be at least one pilot lurking around. You can use this minion detector as basically like a ghetto UAV if you're a Call of Duty player. That's how I always kind of tend to use it. Personally though, I don't find this kit terribly useful to me personally anymore, even in attrition game modes. Basically, I've played this game way too much, and I'm pretty cognizant of where pilots and grunts are going to be spawning at pretty much any point in the game given my team's position on the map. And the benefits of having live updates are outweighed by other kits for me personally. Does that mean it's a bad pick for you? No, not at all. It's certainly an excellent and very, very powerful kit for sure, but it's just not really for me. In my opinion, that's like basically something that you could learn not to rely on over time. You don't need to be relying on this pilot kit. You can, just pay extra attention to the map and your surroundings, and you'll figure out where people are spawning at what points in time, and you'll eventually learn not to need it. But it's definitely a boon to have while you're in that learning period for sure. And plus, in addition to all that, grunts shoot really, really often. So, like, in my opinion, you can still get a pretty good picture of where they're at and what they're doing just based on all the random pot shots that they take. And that's usually enough just for me. Okay, third, let's talk about the Warpfall Transmitter, which is probably, well actually not probably, it's definitely by far my favorite pilot kit for sure. So the Warpfall Transmitter doubles the speed at which your Titan drops upon being called into the battle, so it enables a 3-second drop as opposed to your standard 6. Crushing enemy Titans has changed from being sort of a lucky fluke to a consistent, repeatable method of killing enemies that, in my opinion, you couldn't otherwise consistently achieve. Auto Titans are going to succumb to the drop every single time, provided that you hop on their back to knock them down, jump off them and place your drop directly at their feet, and then you hop right back on them a second time. Generally, they're not going to have enough time to step out of the way, and they definitely will not if you hop on their back that second time. It's not always explicitly required, though. It just depends on how lucky you're feeling and, you know, what that AI Titan decides to do, because they're always freaking unpredictable. But alright, so okay, we're talking about Auto Titans, whatever, who cares about those? I suppose that you can do the same thing without the Warpfall Transmitter, right? So let's talk about how it actually really benefits us versus piloted Titans, which is kind of the more important aspect of this. So one of my favorite things to do with the Warpfall Transmitter is reliant upon my rodeos of enemy Titans. When they hear me jump on their back, they're going to have to do one of a few things. Either A, they're going to dismount their Titan to deal with me, B, they're going to pop smoke, or C, they're going to do nothing at all and they're just going to let it happen. So if they dismount, their Titan is now an auto, and I can assume that it's going to follow the same behaviors that I just talked about. It's going to fall over and I can put a drop right at its feet and kill it with ease. If the pilot happens to kill me during this time, because, you know, they're really smart and they quick dismount their Atlas and turn around and shotty me in the face, you know, or something, so what? I've taken out his Titan, and I have about 10 seconds after that respawn occurs to scurry back and get back in my Titan and generally be pretty safe. If the pilot tries one of those quick dismount into immediate remount kind of strategies, like, you know, for example, where he's clustering a wall and trying to get out and back in to save his Titan from any damage, or, you know, whatever kind of situation that may be, even if he's in the middle of a field, he's trying to get out and get back in, just to trip you up and to get you to jump back off and or something. I don't know why people do that, but people do that. They're still foregoing their life to you. They're still not going to have any chance of getting away from that drop, just because their Titan is going to be stuck in that animation of, you know, of them getting in and out that whole time, and dropping on them is just, it's cake. It's easy. There's no thought involved. It's just simple. They're giving their life up to you. In the other kind of situation, where I said they would pop smoke, that's still going to be in your favor. Granted, there's kind of a little metagame there where you have to kind of be really cognizant of the skill level of the person that you're rodeoing, and, you know, what kind of actions that you know that they're going to try and take. So, for example, if you're playing a not very skilled player who uses the electric smoke, you know that when they pop that smoke, they're probably not going to move. They're probably just going to stand still in that smoke. They're not going to react to the sound of you leaving their Titan. They're just going to stand there until that smoke clears and they see the kill icon. Or if they don't see the kill, then they're just going to wait for the smoke to clear and then run away. So, what you can do is, because you know they're not going to move, just do the exact same thing. Pretend they're an auto Titan and you just jump off. And you drop that warp fall right at their feet, and they're gonna go boom. And it's that easy, you know. A lot of times they might not be cognizant enough to hear that warble, that there's gonna be a Titan drop coming their way, and even if they do, they might not get out of the way in time. So there's always that. But if you're playing versus a more cognizant player who is gonna pop that smoke and they're gonna wait for you to get off their Titan, what I found, what a lot of these, like, you know, kind of mid to upper tier players are going to do is, as soon as they hear that sound of you getting off, they're going to immediately dash forward and they're going to pull a 180 and they're going to try and hit you with their 40. That's going to just how it's going to happen every single time, because you know they're going to use a 40. They all use 40s. So what you can do there is, instead of dropping your warp fall at their feet, just drop it like 5-6 meters in front, you know, of whatever direction they're looking. Just drop it straight ahead of them, so that way when they do that dash, they're going to dash right into the warp fall. And it's awesome when you trick people like that. But at the absolute highest level, where people are using smoke, what they're going to do is they're going to pop smoke, they're going to look directly up in the sky, and they're going to wait for you to get off. And as soon as they hear that noise, they might not even wait till they hear it. They might just try and guess when you're going to jump off, as they're going to look up in the sky and they're going to punch you. And there's not a whole lot you can do in that situation. You can try to get the drop off, but you know that as soon as they kill you, they're going to dash away, and it's just not really worth it. So in that situation, I would say don't try and drop whatsoever. You got to just take the death. But, you know, when you're rodeoing like that, those are kind of my favorite ways of getting the drop on people, you know, literally, and getting those crush kills. Next up, I'm finally done rambling about the Warpfall, by the way. Let's talk about the Dead Man's Trigger very briefly. So if you use satchel charges, if you like satchel charges, you use them a lot, Dead Man's Trigger is the kit for you. Your ability to storm hard points and CTF rooms with satchel charges with completely reckless abandon and take everybody down with you, even if you die, it's unmatched by anything else in the game. Nothing else is going to allow you to do that and have that shock and awe on an enemy team. So there's not much else to say here other than cheap, easy kills. This is a great kit that I used very extensively before the satchel charge nerf to great success, and it's still very, very viable and very, very powerful to this day. Next up, we'll take a look at the ICEPICK. And this is kind of a hard kit to sell to me personally. So yes, it enables you to hack turrets and specters more quickly than you would otherwise, but it's kind of a niche thing to be doing in public games, at least the specter side of things. So, like, for example, how often are you really going to be hacking specters? Like, really? Like, I mean, really evaluate how often you go into a game, like, say you play 5 games a day. How many times do you even attempt to hack a specter within those 5 games? Maybe 1, maybe, probably none. At least in my personal case, that's how it happens for me. So I understand everyone has different play styles and all, and maybe there's a couple of guys out there that every game you're just trying to hack all the specters that you can. Okay, fine, but seriously, in my experience, in like 800 hours of playtime, I don't think I've hacked more than like 150 specters, at least from the last time I've looked at my stats, which was like a couple days ago. So it just doesn't seem like something that I would personally use unless I was screwing around, and I wanted to make it a point to have the biggest specter army imaginable. The specter just, I don't know, it's like they're not that good anyways. It's not worth my time to do it. Even if that time is reduced by the ICEPICK, I would just rather have something else. In addition, the ICEPICK obviously also speeds up turret hacks, but, I guess that's a boon in public games for sure. If you're going to be playing like Lone Wolf and you can't rely on anybody to watch your back, you want to get in and out of that turret as quick as you can. That's fine, I understand that. If you really want to, make it your job to hack all 4 turrets on training ground and do nothing else but keep those turrets hacked, then ICEPICK is for you and more power to you. But in any kind of like a real, like a normal kind of situation where you'd be having like a team of people with you, and you're trying to actually kill pilots and not just play with panels all day, I think that the ICEPICK is kind of a waste. If you're playing solo, you're playing a CTF game on Nexus and you want to keep that turret control, okay, I can understand you wanting to have the ICEPICK because you're very, very exposed and you're going to get killed and you want to get in and out of there quickly. That's fine. That's a great usage of the kit. I understand that. But if you have even one person on voice comms with you, the kit suddenly loses all of its value, at least in my opinion. You can have a person watching your back, you can coordinate when you're getting those turret hacks. You don't need to shave like a second and a half off your hack, because even with the ICEPICK, if somebody's waiting for that sound of you opening up a turret panel to come and kill you, they're going to kill you either way. Whether you've got that ICEPICK on or not, it's not going to speed you up enough to, for them to hear that sound and you can get back off the turret quick enough. It's just not going to happen. So I don't see the real uses for this kit unless you're playing completely 100% solo. That's cool then, but if you have even one teammate, there's no point. Use something else. And finally, let's talk about the Guardianship. So this kit is surrounded in a lot of mystery, and quite frankly, I don't really have a whole lot of concrete information to give you on this one. I have no sources to back up what I'm about to claim. This is all just kind of based on my personal experience, so take it with a grain of salt. Basically, what I think that I've heard in the past, and I can't find a link or anything to corroborate this, it's just what I think I've heard. Maybe I dreamed it one day and I'm crazy, I don't know, but what I've heard is that somebody looked through the game code and found that auto-titan accuracy is increased from something about 33 to 35% to 50% when using this kit. I have no idea how accurate or reliable that is, or what other factors do come into play when calculating auto-titan accuracy, but when I use the Guardianship, I can definitely say that my Auto-Titan's ability to kill pilots feels somewhat improved, but that can entirely be the placebo effect speaking. So I don't know how to test this and how to obtain hard evidence for you guys, because I can't control all the variables, and my sample sizes would have to be way larger than I'm willing to work towards in order to get some answers. So basically, I don't know about this one. I don't know if I should recommend this kit to you or not. I think that if you have a Titan and you want to use it, you should be maximizing its effectiveness by piloting it yourself. There's only 2 situations in the game in which I feel like having an Auto Titan and that it's really effective for me, and both of these are in hard points. One is watching the zip line between A and C points on airbase with an arc cannon, and the other is watching B point on relic with a quad rocket, and both of those would be Ogre Titans, by the way. So, other than that, I don't use Guardianship because I simply don't know if its positive effects are really quantifiable. I'd rather just pilot my Titan and have something that I know for sure is going to help me do cool stuff like the Warpfall Transmitter. So anyways guys, thank you for watching. I hope that you learned something new. Please like and subscribe if you feel so inclined. And yeah, so I guess I think I'm going to be doing a couple more videos in the near future where I'll talk about Titan kits and stuff like that. So, and I'll kind of summarize all those and put them together. So hope you guys are excited for that. So yeah, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Take care.